Joining me now live is Anthony Condos, an Oregon State Farm insurance agent. Mr. Condos, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Blair.
Okay, we just saw a lot of damage across Oregon and Washington. So tell us, what types of severe weather damage are typically covered under a standard homeowners or renters policy?
Typically, you're thinking sudden and accidentals. So when you have something that might be considered maintenance or wear and tear, which is the case for, unfortunately, a lot of people with roofs and damage and leaks, sometimes that stuff might not be covered. So one of the main things that we need to know is what caused the damage and what did the damage cause. So if it's something like a roof and or the foundation and the basement's wet, we need to know how the water got into that foundation. So there's a lot of questions. Knowing your deductible, being ahead of things, those are very important things to consider.
Are fallen trees covered if they say damage a home, a car, even a fence?
I mean, typically, if your neighbor, for example, if your neighbor's tree falls on your home and it's a healthy tree and it's an act of nature, that would be something that typically your policy would cover. That's one of the most common questions that we get, and vice versa. If it's your tree that's healthy and it falls on your neighbor's house, then that would typically be covered under their policy. Your own policy covers your own structure and property.
What's the first thing that policyholders should do after discovering storm damage?
One of the things that you want to be ahead of is mitigation. So try to prevent as much as you can what you can do preventing further damage, whether that's tarping up a roof, if you're in a basement situation, elevating things on blocks or getting valuable things that are out of standing water to prevent further damage. So whatever you can do, staying ahead of things. For example, preparing for winter, making sure your gutters are clear, your downspouts are clear. You want to make sure that the water is being pulled away from your home and not being sucked directly into your foundation, where eventually over time, those concrete walls are going to absorb that water and it's going to start making its way in.
Will filing a weather-related claim automatically raise someone's rates?
So that's the thing too, is that's where it's important to have local representation. Once you make a claim, you can't really unmake it, even if it's withdrawn or it's on record only. So it's important to have somebody like a local representative that you can call and ask, weigh out the deductible, think about what could be happening. I mean, I spoke to someone the other day that had an $18,000 deductible by choice. They call you, you want to go over that and say, hey, I want you to know right away that your deductible is very high. Go get some estimates, have this looked at, and if this is not anywhere near your deductible or exceeding it, it's not something that we're going to have a claim on your record for.
And how long does it usually take to assess damage and send out any payments, right? Like, how quickly can someone feel relief?
So with my company, we have the ability to do agent draft authority. We can cut checks out depending on the situation, but there is kind of like the evacuation levels. There are severity levels. So obviously we have to temper our expectations. There are people that are in uninhabitable situations, and those take priority over people that have smaller little claims that might not necessarily put you unplaced or unhoused.
You know, if I'm being honest, I'm sure a lot of people can relate, checking my insurance coverage isn't something that I do often.
Right.
So how can homeowners and renters make sure that they're adequately insured before severe weather hits?
So a good reminder is every year you're going to get a declaration page and a policy summary when your policy renews. So take that as a time to, look and see what your coverage is. Call if you have any questions. One of the other things that I was going to mention is whether it's a forest fire or it's a flood situation or freezing rain or whatever, go through your house and canvas things. Open your drawers, open your closets, take pictures. We're lucky enough to have the technology these days to where we can have the resources at our fingertips, because when something happens, it's really hard to remember every little thing that you have, and anything that you can help to jot your memory of the things that you lose or were damaged is only going to help you when something happens.
Okay, Anthony, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Of course, thanks for having me. Happy holidays.